The Broncos have hope. After winning against the Bears in dramatic fashion, the Broncos have hope still for this season. Now, it's still a long shot, but you got to have hope, right? You've got to keep dreaming. After an embarrassing loss against the Dolphins, they were able to bounce back, albeit, late fourth quarter comeback with the help of some incompetent play calling from the Bears. But they took advantage of that and came out with a win. And now they are playing the Jets, who are also 1-3. So they have the possibility of going into the Chiefs game 2-3. Now, I don't think they're going to beat the Chiefs that Thursday. One, it being on a short week. Two, you're playing away. Three, it's the Chiefs. They're very good. But if we could play them tough, that gives me hope that we can actually win against them 2 weeks later. And when we play them at home, we play the Packers after the Chiefs. I think that is also a win. So if you add that together, they beat the Jets, they get to 2-3. I can see them losing to the Chiefs 2-4, beat the Packers 3-4, beat the Chiefs 4-4, and then we got the Bills. That's going to be a loss, I believe, 4-5. But then we get the Vikings at home, 5-5. Get the Browns at home. The Browns have a very good defense, but when it comes to the offense, I am not sold. I think that is a possible win as well. 6-5. And the Texans have surprised me this year. The Texans have done really good with what they have at hand. So before I thought this could be a win, now it's kind of up in the air. If they could win that 7-5, I think the Chargers game in I'm about to say San Diego, in LA, that would be a loss. 7-6. The Lions 7-7, but then they could win out the final 3 games against the Patriots, home against the Patriots, home against the Chargers, and away at the Raiders. Those are 3 very winnable games to get them to 10-7. 10-7 might be enough to get them into the playoffs this year. We will see how the season rolls out, but I'm feeling good. I think things might turn around. I'm hearing Quan Williams is coming back. Baron Browning is coming back. They just released Randy Gregory, recently. I'm not really too upset about that at all. I think that's actually pretty valid. They tried to trade him, but there just wasn't anyone interested in his contract, so they just cut him. We'll see what happens, but I'm feeling good for the Broncos, even though it's like I midway through that third quarter, 28-7. Oh man, and it was my birthday as well that day. I was feeling sick. I was feeling pretty damn sick watching that game, but they were able to turn it back around, get that win. If they lost that game, I would have just gave up on the season. 0-4 is too big of a loss to come back and make the playoffs. But 1-3, for some reason, it feels way more possible, especially looking at the schedule that they have coming up. I definitely think that by week 10, we can be 5-5 going into the possibility of getting into the playoffs as a wild card. Now, we'll see what happens. That defense, oh Lord, that defense needs a lot of work. But I think with Brandon Browning coming back, them having Nick Bonito, giving him way more reps, like I've been begging them to do this whole season, I think will help a lot. Jonathan Cooper is solid to me. Bonito is going to be the real game changer in coverage. Quan Williams will help a whole lot. I'd love to see Riley Moss get in a little bit more, see what's up with him. I'm not sure why. I know he was injured a little bit, but I want to see more of him. Having the combination of Quan Williams and Riley Moss opposite of Sertan, I think that would help a lot. Justin Simmons can come back, and then you've got Benito, Cooper, and Brandon Browning up front rushing the passer. I think that would help a lot for sure. On offense, I think we need to feed the ball to Mims more. Mims is our most consistent wide receiver. I like him a lot. I think he might even, if he hasn't already, he will usurp Jerry Jeudy. And I love Jerry Jeudy, but I think Mims has shown much more consistency in his explosive plays early in his career. Courtland Sutton, big target, talented guy, but I'm still unsure how consistent he can really be. Yes, he has 3 touchdowns. You know, if you look at the projections for the rest of the season, you know, that looks pretty good. But when it comes to like his actual stats, there's nothing really that is jumping out to you on paper. You know, 2 of the games he's had less than 35 yards. You know, his best game was against Miami, probably when, you know, they were getting their asses beat. And Miami was playing that, you know, slow burn defense, no big plays. Just want to see more from him, ideally. But I still think that, you know, the weapons, Russell Wilson has done a great job really spreading the wealth. I think Jaleel McLaughlin is also gonna end up getting more reps, especially if Williams is injured now. Can definitely see Jaleel McLaughlin getting more reps. He had 10 touches? Yeah, 10 touches last game for over 100 yards. That basically says you should give him the ball more to see what he can do with more touches, with more opportunity. But yeah, I think the Broncos can turn this around. If they could beat the Jets, I will feel more confident moving forward and seeing more in what the season can turn out. If they lose to the Jets, I think it will be over, because then you play immediately the Chiefs right after, and that is 1-5. I don't see anyone bouncing back from 1-5 and making the playoffs. I just don't see that. 2-3 is very doable. You know, I think they have to get one of those games from the Chiefs. They can't lose to the Chiefs 2 times this season if they want to make the playoffs. They have to beat them at least one time. We'll see how the defense and you know, everybody returning, Frank Clark, Baron Browning, Quan Williams, Justin Simmons, if these guys can come back and make, you know, and play how they're usually expected to play, I think that will substantially make a difference on defense. I want to see more Marvin Mims. He's really quickly becoming one of my favorite players on the team. Russell Wilson, just keep doing what you're doing. Keep scheming him for more passes and everything. Keep working with him. He's doing a really good job. There are a couple plays I've seen where he might miss someone, but when you look at his stats, you can't really be upset with what he's offering. And now we could talk about the actual game coming up this Sunday against the Jets and why I think the Broncos can beat them. You know, last year when the Jets played the Broncos, Russell Wilson didn't play. We had Nathaniel Hackett as coach. I think Russell Wilson this year has been playing much better. And even though the Jets do have a very talented defense, I will give them credit for that. Their offense is way worse than ours, but our defense is way worse than theirs. But I think our defense will do a better job against their offense than their defense will against our offense. Our offense, I think the Broncos offense I think Russell Wilson on the Broncos offense, he really distributes the ball. He doesn't have a favorite target. He constantly and consistently is throwing, you know, the ball to multiple people. You know, 7 or more receivers are receiving catches consistently the last 4 games, I believe. So I think that will continue, and that will negate a lot of what Sauce Gardner brings to the table when it comes to their defense. I think, I just think that they're going to do a better job. I think Sean Payton is going to come up with a nice game plan to, allow the Broncos to, matriculate down the field is a famous phrase. I think that, I'm not expecting them to put up 30, but I could see them putting up 17 or 20 points, with the help of the defense. If the defense can get a couple turnovers on Zach Wilson, I think that is a definite thing that I can see happening. When you look at the Jets offense, they've got some talented running backs, but as receivers, I'm not really convinced. Garrett Wilson is the best one, and I think Patrick Surtain can hold him down very efficiently. I know they got Allen Lazard, Hardman, and Randall Cobb. We'll see, but we are also want to beat the Jets because of Nathaniel Hackett. I think that is the main reason, and also I think Sean Payton will not let himself fall after the things he said about Nathaniel Hackett. He said some things about Mike McDaniels, and we saw how people ran with that after that terrible game. I don't think he will want something like that to happen again, where he have to eat his words about a coach that he spoke on in public. Hopefully, if we could get Baron Browning back, I think that would definitely help. Just consistently put pressure on Zach Wilson so he can continue to be inefficient. I can see a 20-13 kind of game, or a 20-16 kind of game. It's not going to be a very, it's not going to be a very flashy game. I think it's going to be very long, consistent drives is what will lead to scores. I don't really think any. Maybe Mims might get out for I could see Mims getting out for a long pass that ends up resulting in a field goal. I don't know if that play like that will lead into a touchdown, but we'll see what happens. But I'm not expecting a lot of flash style plays. I'm seeing a lot of 5-yard gains, 8-yard gain, 7-yard gain, 3-yard gain, 2-yard gain, 8-yard gain. I'm seeing drives like that in my mind on what the game will end up looking like on Sunday. I predict like a 20-16, 23-16 Broncos game, where it'll come down to the Jets trying to score to tie up or take the lead, and they're just not able to. I think that's what will happen. Besides the Dolphins game, the Broncos games have all been close. There has been no easy wins, no easy game where you could sit back and relax. So I'm not expecting that to be the type of game we'll see on Sunday. I'm going to follow up next week after this upcoming game. I'm actually going to be at the game, taking the trip. Hope, my first time to see the Broncos play in a home environment. That should be really exciting. Hopefully they don't let me down, and I could, leave that experience feeling really good seeing them win. Let me know what you guys think about the Broncos coming up this week, and what are your hopes and projections for the rest of the season right now. I think they can get to 10-7 still and make a wild card berth, but we'll see how things shake. All right, thanks for viewing the video. Appreciate it. I'm gonna try to be having more sports talk and everything moving forward as well on this channel. If that interests you, subscribe, come back whenever you can. Much appreciated. Peace.